Hello Wild Tiger TV fans, bit odd this one, just on my way somewhere. It's been doing my head in. I've had a few people asking me questions about CB, which is to be expected I suppose, because I'm putting CB videos up. But I just thought there was better people out there to relay the information that people want. Basically, I've been asked to do a video on how I got started in CB. So, this is how I got started in CB. The thing is, my old man and everybody have been CBists for years. So it's kind of been in the family this whole time, you know. My granddad mended CVs. My dad used them. My uncle used CBs. Everybody that my dad sort of hung around with used CBs. So that's where the interest has come from. You always had one in the car. So how did I get started? Fred in the Shed. So I was watching Fred in the Shed on YouTube one night. A few beers sitting there, you know, reminiscing. Bit of what's CB all about nowadays? So I looked at Fred in the Shed, watched a load of Fred in the Shed. And what did I do? This is a boring story. This is why I'm surprised anybody wanted to know. So yeah, watched Fred in the Shed. Then I went straight onto Amazon and bought a Thunderpole sprung mag mount whip for the car. And a Thunderpole T600 CB. It's only little, I don't even know what's coming out the back of it, 5 watts, if that, 4 watts, whatever. I plumbed that in the car. I didn't get a copy for a few days because I didn't key the mic. And that's the most important thing. If you're going to spend any money on CB stuff, or even amateur radio stuff, and all the rest of it, there is no point getting the top end this and the top end that and all the rest of it if you're not going to key up the mic and call for a copy. You know, you're going to have to break channel to get someone to talk to you. Do you know what I mean? And it isn't the same channel all the time. You'll see me on the 355, and you'll see me on the 961 and all the rest of it, which is Bruce's channel, and we got Steve's channel, and blah 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 blah. So my suggestion to anybody who wants to get into CB is not to spend a lot of money. Don't spend a lot of money. I'm stuck behind a fucking great big log lorry here. He's doing like 3 miles an hour. What the fuck's wrong with you, dude? Anyway, so I would go Amazon or Facebook or somewhere like that. Try and find second hand is all right, but try and get a newer one second hand. You know, don't buy a bloody 35-year-old fucking Colt or whatever it is if it's your first time at CB. You need to get something within your realms. And then the next question I get is, well, what antenna do I need to get far? Well, I'm not being funny. I only had a 102-inch tank whip on a mag mount. And I was doing 30, 40 miles away from me, which isn't bad on a clear, good night, obviously. Everything's got to be perfect. So it doesn't really matter like that. It depends. It's all budget. Everything is budget. It comes down to what you want to spend on the rig, what you want to spend on the antenna, what you want to spend on coax, all of it. It all becomes a factor. So rather than watching an idiot like me who's a beginner, I'd go and watch someone like Fred in the Shed. You know, he's a little bit more in depth, and it might be a little bit more of what you're looking for, because I'm definitely not an oracle of CB. I am just beginning. Well, I say just beginning. I've been doing it a couple of months now, so I'm getting there. Simple things you need to learn are basic etiquette as well, because there's a lot of CB users out there who they have a certain etiquette. They like other people to adhere to it. Swearing, I know I do a lot of swearing, but there is a fair few out there who don't like it. Oh, doing an overtake. I don't know why I make those noises. My car actually does make those noises. I have the window shut. Anyway, so before you get carried away and you're out there buying your Gain Masters and your Sirio 187s or 1827s or whatever the fuck they're called, before you're out there and you buy all that crap, I would go and buy a basic mag mount set, a T600 or a T800 little mag mount. Don't need an amp or any of that crap at the moment. Put it on your car, wire it all in. Try not to do it by the fag lighter. You can do it by the fag lighter, but you do get a lot of noise via the fag lighters in cars. So just hardwire it somehow. And go and sit on your local hill somewhere that's on a clear day. It doesn't even have to be a clear day. Just go and sit on your local hill somewhere. Don't think that you're going to sit there for 5 minutes and pick up 600 people, because it's not going to happen. You need to go and sit on a hill. I don't know what country, I can't even remember, he didn't say what country. Sorry, the bloody memory went on my phone there. I hope you can see me. Well, you can, I can see myself. So, yeah, there is no point in spending money on any of this stuff if you're not going to break channel. If you're not going to break channel and you're just going to sit there and listen, you might as well just buy yourself a listening radio. You know, like my realistic DX300. You can't break channel, you literally just listen. So that would be my advice. I'll do a little video at the end of this of the gear I've got and the gear I've gone through. But yeah, don't spend any money unless you're actually going to use it. If it's just going to sit there and be a radio, like your bloody radio in the kitchen or whatever, then buy something that just receives. Don't go mad, it's pointless. And don't forget, we were all mic shy at one point. I spent 2 days going, oh fuck, what have I done? Bought this and it doesn't work. It does work. You've got to call out, or sit on a channel. If you hear something, you're like, oh, what was that? Sit on that channel. Call out on that channel. You'll be surprised how many people are like you, sitting at home, staring at their CB, going, no one's talking to me. Yeah, you've got to talk to them first, dude. You've got to kind of say, what the Dillio deuce is going on here, and is anybody on channel? It works. Got quite a good collection of friends now, I'd say friends, on channel. You know, we're all like-minded people, I would have thought. Got a Facebook group. It's going well, you know, so that would be my advice. Find a second-hand one which is of this era and make sure it works. If you can, you know, most CBists, if they're selling a CB, will show you it working, because they don't want you to disappear with a non-working radio. But the screwdriver warriors out there who like to play with a radio, oh, I'll just turn this up a little bit so Tom in the Lizard can hear me. Tom's 70 miles away from you and you're running 10 watts. It doesn't matter how much power you're pushing through that radio. The only thing you're going to do is damage that radio. Just progress and work your way up. So that would be my advice. A sprung whip for the car on a mag mount with a little T800, no amp or nothing required, and you're away. You know, see who's local. See who's local first, because your local contacts will be your daily contacts. Bruce is a local contact to me. Terry's a local contact to me. Sorry, just waving at a friend. So, you know, Steve, they're all within my local area. So, and they're your dailies. That'll be your bread and butter of your CB work. That will. And then you can move on to skip and big aerials and high power and burners, amplifiers, logs on, whatever you want to fucking do. But first off, you've got to see if there's anybody in your area who will DX with you. Alright, so look, that's my first little take on getting set up on CB. You know, I don't know enough really to talk about it enough, but I'm learning, so this is what I've learned. Start little, work your way up. And once you get in a group of blokes who you're talking to on CB, they'll help you. You know, they'll say, oh, you're a little bit off frequency, or you're a little bit quiet, or you'll be suffering with noise, and you'll speak to, oh yeah, well I did this and this suffered my noise. And everybody's always got advice, there is always advice, and that's a good thing. Ignore Facebook. I know on a lot of Facebook groups you get a lot of, let's say, wankers who like to fucking preach to other people. Oh, you want to do this and you're not going to be able to do, and you won't get to bloody Jamaica if you don't bloody do this, and blah, 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 and talking signal wise. It's like, well, hang on a minute, some people don't quite understand that yet. Radio is a science. Yeah, it's definitely a science. You tinker and you play and you work it out, and it'll always come good. There's always a way around it. High SWR, there's a way around it. Noise, depends where you are, but height is might. Anyway, I'm blabbling crap now. I'm nearly at my destination, so I hope you've been able to hear me through this video. I'll add a few photos or maybe a little video to the end of this, showing my setup at home, exactly what I'm running, and my antenna, etc, etc. And I hope this helps some of you out. Any questions, ask. You're not going to see me now, so I've got to steer around the roundabout. And then progression comes like this. This is a Tornado 27 Serio on a 20 odd foot pole with a RG 213 running off it. Yeah, into the back of the shack. Yeah, there's the shack clip. But it all began with that. See that sprung whip there? That's what it began with. So the basics is that. You start with this and you end up with that. But you need to start with this. And like I say, if you don't break the mic and if you don't key up and you don't ask for a copy, then you're not going to get one. So there's no point in buying that until you've tried that, which is usually slapped on the car. Like this. Now, in the car I've progressed from my little T800, which I'll add a picture here, somewhere, maybe in this little square, and I've progressed to this. A little bit more power, does upper sideband and things like that, but what I'm saying is you need to spend as little money as possible before you go big. That's my advice. Get something in the car, get something mobile, cheap and cheerful, and then progress. And what you'll do is you'll progress to something like this in a shack, and then you'll go, oh, I fancy one of these, so I'll get one of these, and then I get one of these, and each time that you progress, you'll end up with something just a little bit more powerful and a little bit more kick to it. You know, you'll get there. But all these things, they're not cheap. You know, none of this is cheap. This is cheap. This is cheap. But none of this is cheap, really, you know. And that basically is it. You know, you need to start off cheap. You need to start with a cheap radio. Look, this is what I started with. 54 quid on Amazon. Yeah, T800 might be the wrong way around. It might not be. I don't know. To me, it is. But yeah, a little cheap one of these on a sprung whip, which is an orbital modular with a mag mount on this in this very room, you know. But be aware, if you get contacts and you get people on your channels and there is people around, it very quickly money. Okay, so just be aware. All right, it's a money pit. You know, there's other, you know, like other things. You know, that's all I would say. Start off cheap. Try and break channels. See if you can get hold of some people, and if you can, then look into progression. Then look into your home base and things like that. Okay. So yeah, this has basically been a video on how to get started, and I'm saying buy cheap, because cheap is not necessarily shit. You know, you can buy cheap but still be good. I really recommend. I am not sponsored by anybody, but I really do recommend the Thunderpoles. You know, if you just want to do FM work, If you want to do something else, try a 6900. Or if you're going to go for it, go for a 7900. You know, because it'll do FM work and other stuff. Alright, but research. Don't just take my word for it. Look, there's plenty of people on YouTube that you could get plenty of advice off. Fred in the Shed. He always comes up because it's just easy to remember. But there is plenty of others. Just type it in, CB for beginners, getting started. There's loads of videos, alright? So that's my take on it, yeah. A bit in the car, a bit around the shack. Showed you both antennas, the one I started with and then what I've progressed to, okay? And I did have an Antron 99 as well in between. So I went from a sprung whip to an Antron 99 to a Tornado Sirio 27 thing, okay? On a pole, because the Antron was only on the washing line, and I put the Antron on the pole. Lots of noise comes with an Antron. Good aerial, good antenna Antrons, cheap, but they do pull in a lot of noise. And I don't know why that is. They just seem to pull a lot of noise. Fiberglass, blah blah blah. Don't care. Not getting into it. Now progressed. So that's my advice. Buy something cheap that's new and you know works. Buy everything new. If you're going to start, buy everything new. Yeah, and then you can skip to the older stuff because you understand how it works a little bit better, so you can make it work and you understand why it might not be working. With newer stuff, you put it all together, set the SWR up. SWR, you know, you can Google that. Google it, YouTube it, whatever. You know, and then once you set up and go in, break channel. Break every channel. Doesn't matter what channel. Oh, what channel are you guys on? Break every channel. On the way to wherever I'm going, I will go through the channels. Go through the channels. You know, who's on. There will always be someone. There will always be some old boy in a shack like this listening all day. He's got nothing better to do. So you've got to break channel, alright? Buy cheap, but new. And break channel. Lots of love, Wild Dagger TV. I'm clear.